I'm Natasha, and if you're watching this, I'm going to talk about the planet Saturn. So, to start off with, what is Saturn? So, I like to explain if Saturn was an actual human figure or archetype, Saturn would be a very restrictive, kind of stoic, reserved kind of person. This is the kind of person, if Saturn was a human being, this person would have like 2, 3 outfits in their closet and they would just put that on rotation. They'd only own 1 or 2 pairs of shoes. They would be so focused on working on their craft or whatever they're passionate about every single day, almost all day long, to do the hard work, figure out the setbacks, the hardships, the weird things that they didn't know about before every single day in order to master whatever craft or thing that they are trying to develop, grow, build, whatever it is, into something a lot bigger. And so Saturn energy, if it was like a person, understands this hard dedication that is so freaking slow. It is not short-term fast. It is thinking about longevity, what is going to last the test of time, what is going to be durable and reliable, what is going to build a very strong foundation, this strong basis in order to then build up. But if your foundation is really weak or it was rushed, you didn't think about all the little things and details and all these different outliers that you might not encounter on a regular day basis. And sometimes that just requires experience and life experience, and things in the world also change, and then you have to maneuver around things like that. So Saturn understands this long, very hard, restrictive energy, but it is something that it is willing to work on. It is something that it is passionate about in order to do it. Otherwise, if you don't care about it, usually you have zero motivation to even try, but Saturn understands if you really want something, like you really want it, and it seems so unreachable and far away, well, you still have to start somewhere. You have to figure out the process, try it, actually get out there and try try again, but never quit, never change your mind, not like, oh, I don't think this is for me because it was hard. No, Saturn energy understands that you have to push through hardship. You have to be restricted and squeezed. So Saturn, just like the figure that only owns 2 outfits in their closet, they know that even though they want all these things, they want nice things, they want luxury, like a luxury lifestyle, they want a lot of money, they want status, that you just don't get there if you started from absolutely nothing. They didn't get an inheritance of like, oh, all the work is done, and so you just get to enjoy. That's not Saturn. So Saturn understands that if I want something in the long run that's going to last and be secured or make me feel successful, then I'm going to spend, a period of time or maybe a long time being very restrictive. Like, even though I want something and I have the money to go get it, that doesn't mean I go get it. That's Saturn. It's like, no, I have to restrict right now. I need to save 90% of my income in order to start this business that I'm so devoted to. It is the, Jeff Bezos in an office starting from nothing. It is all these big CEOs that started from nothing and now they're huge empires, but nobody really wants to really look and feel the burden and pain and hardship of the process. but that is Saturn energy. And Saturn takes about 30 years to go through all of the 12 zodiac signs. So that's how slow it is. So everyone experiences their first Saturn return in the age bubble of 30. You might enter your Saturn return lesson around the age 27, 28, and you might think, this is great, this is what I want, or whatever. And then a little bit after the age of 30, 31, 32, 33, it plays out differently based on what lessons are you supposed to be learning, or what did you avoid, or you just didn't quite get it without this real life experience. And so after that, you might have a different shift in perspective. You become more of a real adult, not this paper legal adult, like you're 18, therefore you're an adult in the eyes of the government. As a more mature human being, you've kind of crossed that little mountain of maturity in some way, like another level. Not saying that if you're younger than 30, that you're not mature. That's not what I'm saying. But, you go through this Saturn return approximately every 30 years. Usually Saturn's energy gets a little bit lighter after the age of 40, like around 40 and after, and so it just takes a really long time. It is something you have to work on. If you know what zodiac sign your Saturn is in and what house it is in, you can kind of understand what struggles you're trying to learn. And usually it's very hard. It's not easy for you, or it doesn't come easy for you. You always have to work really hard in this department in life, no matter how hard you try, and it'll just keep testing you. Saturn is like the strictest teacher in school, and nobody wants this teacher. But the teacher is that way because that person actually wants you to do really well. Like if you had the strictest teacher in high school and you survived that teacher and they put all these red marks, all these lines, and you thought you did so well, and you get it back and you're like, I got a freaking D or an F, and there's all these lines, and like, how can I do extra credit or whatever? And you turn it in and you get it back and you get even more red lines. You're like, and then you see Jilly Bo Bob and Sally Mae Sue in the other class with one of the most fun, easy teachers, and they're getting A's and they hardly have to do anything, and you're like, ugh, it's not fair. Like, this teacher is going to ruin my GPA and I'm not going to be able to get into the college that I want because I just happen to get a really hard teacher. But if you really survived that really strict Saturn teacher who did not take it easy on you because they wanted you to survive, they wanted to teach you the things the right way so well right now while you're under their wing, under their guardianship. So this way, when you're off in the real world where life is actually hard, it's not that bad because you actually went through brutal training under the shelter or mentorship of a teacher, if they actually approached it like a mentor, because I know not all teachers have the time to do stuff like that or care, So, that is Saturn. It is brutal. It's hard. It's nitpicky. It's a pain in the butt. And it keeps kind of like setting you back over and over and over, delays. It makes you end up doing more work. You have to try and fix the work that you already thought you did, and you don't even know what you're doing wrong because you thought you were doing pretty well, and they have to find something else for them to nitpick at you, And so once you go to college or whatever, you survived. It's a piece of cake. College is a piece of cake because you did the brutal training. You're already prepared, while the other Sally Mae Sue, whoever, Billy Joe Bob, went to the easy teacher and now they're struggling. They're making D's and F's, having to repeat classes, pay for more tuition. They're not able to have fun in college and go to parties and stuff because they're so busy now trying to figure it out because they got the easy way in high school. So that's another way to kind of try and comprehend this Saturn archetype, because Saturn is freaking slow. It is no fun. It always has setbacks. It makes you feel really squeezed wherever it is. Like if you have Saturn in the 5th house, the house of fun, house of play, dating, self-expression, it's the Leo house. It's going to be like, I'm not allowed to have fun, you know, and it's all these different outliers that it's not even your fault. It's just, it's happening to you. And it's, or maybe you chose something, you know, you chose to get married and you chose to have a kid. And now you have to be more responsible. There's less time to just go off and have fun and do whatever you want. You have responsibility because Saturn is responsibility, duty, burdens, restrictions, like, oh, we need to go to the doctor's appointment, or, you know, we have to say, oh, I'm sorry, we can't go to this party because my kid is sick and I don't want to get y'all sick and blah, blah, blah. You know, it is that responsibility, that squeeze, restriction in that house or that zodiac sign, or a mixture of both. So I hope I tapped into everything I wanted to say about Saturn energy. I'm a Capricorn sun, so I understand this sad story of Saturn. It is no bueno, and but it's actually very rewarding because you actually grow, evolve, learn. That builds self-esteem, that builds resilience. You feel proud of yourself that once upon a time, like, I never talked. I'm not curious. I'm an observer. And it took me a long time to practice speaking and feeling comfortable, not having social anxiety, and learning how to ask questions. It sounds really stupid, but that's what happened for me. I have Saturn in the 3rd house of Sagittarius, and I happen to have my Chiron in the opposite, Gemini, in the 9th house. So we'll also check out your Chiron sign in the zodiac sign and the house that one is in, because they kind of might relate to each other. Because your Chiron wound, you tend to want it, or you want to be better at it. And sometimes your Saturn is going to be somewhere to where it might force you to help actually take the time over the years or whatever to kind of slowly build up and work on that Chiron wound placement over time. If you choose to work on it, because you can always choose to run away and escape and not face the reality of the situation, whatever that is for you. So that concludes my intro for Saturn. And in the next segment, hopefully I have time to just timestamp where the real zodiac sign starts. So yeah, check that out. So yeah, and please like and subscribe. Comment down below. What is your experience with Saturn? Most likely it's going to be sucky, sad stories. So just don't forget that you are on a public platform if you're sharing or oversharing. So yeah, okay. So if you have Saturn in the sign of Taurus, maybe in the 2nd house, but mainly in the sign of Taurus, then Saturn is trying to teach you how to be more stable with your finances and teach you what value truly is. So this is kind of a hard one, you know, because Saturn is not fun. It restricts, it makes you, it like forces you to not just splurge on whatever you want to splurge on. Or if you do, there's kind of consequences to that. It is trying to teach you, in order to find stability, security, be able to afford the nice things that you want in the long run, or teach you the difference between wants and needs, then you're going to feel squeezed in your financial department. And Taurus represents your personal finances, the personal things that you own, or the material things that you own, and your self-value, or how do you value yourself? Because that kind of depends on your perspective of what that is. So some people might kind of overdo like the material things. So whatever they have, if they own a lot of luxurious goods, or they have to dress a certain way, or own a certain car, or own a certain look of a house, or, you know, the real estate, it can't just be anywhere or whatever. Taurus might say like, hey, that is kind of external from you. That is not deep within you. True value is within. It's not the decor that you present yourself with. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you are or are not valuable based on how you dress or what you own. You know, you can be an extremely valuable person and not look the part at all. So I'm not saying looks don't matter, because in this world, it does matter to an extent. But if you have to overdo it, or feel like you need to spend all of your money in order to get a certain wardrobe, in order to be respected or looked at in a certain way, in order to be respected or accepted, wanted, picked, you know, in favor of, it doesn't always line up to, you know, your actual value. You know, and it's trying to teach you that kind of over and over and over again, kind of squeezing you. Maybe you want to spend a lot on nice things, because Taurus is very pleasant and pleasurable. It's a Venus ruled sign. It loves aesthetics and things that are nice, luxurious goods, things that look good, smell good, feel good, taste good. Pleasure or pleasurable, pleasant. It's nice. It'll either you are or you are not, but it is kind of the presentation of stability and worth, you know. So, you know, having Taurus predominantly in your sign does not necessarily mean you may come across this way. Maybe if you have Taurus in your midheaven, you can present yourself like that, like you're very stable, financially stable, or you know how to dress in a certain way that makes you look kind of wealthy in some sort of way. It doesn't mean that you are wearing or own luxurious, very expensive stuff, but you know how to present yourself in a kind of very professional, sophisticated, elegant, like texture, knowing how to mix colors and textures together. It's kind of like art. I'm kind of getting lost now, but Saturn is trying to teach you how to refine things like that, your finances, your self-worth, your arts and crafts, or your sense of style, and trying to make you really, really good at it, or really comprehend how to become very stable and durable in the long run. Like whatever money that you make, you don't have to make a ton of money, but if you know how to restrict, you know, for a period of time, or earlier on in your years, while you can kind of take advantage of living at your parents' home or whatever it may be. If you're able to invest or put your money towards certain things that will grow and make money while you're sleeping, that will produce long-term stability. So instead of, you might be learning lessons of like, oh, like I really want to buy that thing. It's so nice or whatever, but like I'm broke, right now. And like, but I really want it. And this is the only time that I'm probably going to get it, or it's going to present itself to me. And it's like, it'd probably make me look really good or respectable to other people or whatever. And you have to make a choice of, is it really worth it? Does it define you? Because it's an external thing outside of yourself. It doesn't actually define who you are. It's just really nice to have, and nice that if you do have more than enough finances and money to tap into to afford nice things, then that's like a bonus. But Saturn is trying to kind of put the squeeze on your personal finances and the nice things that, you own. Maybe they're not the nicest things and you desire really nice, high quality stuff, but Saturn is going to be like, do you really need it? You have 20 already, 20 perfumes at home already. How much more do you need? Because when it really comes down to it, if there's a huge crisis or a sudden shakeup in your job or living situation, divorce, someone passes away unexpectedly, and now their income is gone. That is extremely traumatic. It's very, it shakes things up. And now you're really in a bind where you were comfortable in this Taurian kind of pleasant bubble of everything was nice. You have everything that you need. You're floating in the cloud. If you really want to spend on that, you don't have to say no because you have the money. So if you really want it, you can go get it. Saturn is going to teach you these things over time to make you feel like, is it really worth it? Because I remember in the past, this thing happened, and then this other thing happened, but in a different way. And it's like trying to teach you over time what is valuable to you, because everyone is going to be different on what they perceive value is and what they particularly need for whatever they want to do. So it's just trying to teach and refine and restrict and make you go back and say like, no, you didn't quite get it before. So we're going to kind of teach you it again. So this way you can kind of become more mature in this department. And so you will be way better later on. If you watched the first part of my video and caught the Saturn return around age 30, you may have a huge lesson in this time bubble in your life. And that really alters your perspective on how to move forward with your finances or what you truly value. Or, if you had to cut almost everything and suddenly do the van life, and you are in a time crunch, you either have to sell or donate a huge chunk of your stuff because you can only fit so much things in your van. You're going to really realize, what do you really need and actually use often and on a day-to-day basis, and what you don't actually need. It's just a lot of excess stuff that is fun to buy. It's fun to look at. There's nothing wrong with it necessarily, but it really kind of teaches you, if you were to think about it, living in a normal house and being able to fit a bunch of crap or nice things in it, but it's just excess stuff. And this stuff might make you feel like, oh, it's so nice. And, like I can choose between so many different lotions and creams or ties and suits and shoes for different outfits and stuff. But that doesn't necessarily mean you need it. It's just, it's nice, it's a bonus. Or, so if you kind of put things into perspective, and if you were to really be that Saturn archetype of like, if I had to not pick like 2 or 3 outfits, to wear until they look so bad. If you were to have to pick like 5, and what do you wear the most, and it's fine, it's just clothes, and it covers your body, protects your skin, protects you from the sun or whatever, feels good, comfortable, or it's casual or professional enough to do your job. The real value is on the inside. What do you do or provide or give back? Or how do you treat people? How do people feel when they're in your company? Do people respect you or whatever? That's more value than the dressing that you decor yourself with, or that you live inside in like a car or house or houses, or various beach vacations, So those are like the material things that you may be able to afford or not. But that doesn't necessarily define who you are, because a lot of people who have a ton of money, a ton of stuff, or can afford really nice things and be nice to your face for a while can end up being very rotten, and they're not exactly who you thought they would be. And it's kind of surface level and fake, So that, like, then you're like, oh, that person is not going to be there for me. Like, I would have been there for them during a real crisis, and I thought they would be there for me, but, because they have more than enough. They have all this time, they have so much stuff, but they didn't even think or consider about me when I'm like in like a real crisis and I'm about to live on the street with absolutely nothing. And they didn't even offer, one of their old outfits, that they can deal with, like they won't even miss, then you'll see like that person's value, even though they have this facade, on the outside, it doesn't match the heart of their actual value. So whatever it means for you, or whatever lessons you are supposed to learn with your Saturn in Taurus, those things can be playing out. You can look back to childhood. I always like to look at your childhood upbringing and kind of figure out why you might have this kind of challenge of feeling valuable enough or feeling good enough, or why do you find things important in order to feel accepted or loved by one person or a group of people or society? Was that kind of taught or mentioned, nitpicked on you, or kind of around you in your home or the family? Did they show some kind of importance that, people who cannot afford a luxury, whatever it is, are like beneath us, and you learn that that is somewhat important, but, so you started learning or identifying very expensive things is equal to who you are and what you are worth and how people are going to treat you. But people who own very nice things don't always get treated well. They don't always get treated like they're actually valuable, or, they actually provide a lot of love and care and, like emotional stability. They're very pleasant. They are considerate. They actually do the work of trying to help out, not just say, oh, I'm so sorry. just let me know if there's anything I need, but then they're never around when you need anything, you know. It's kind of more superficial. So trying to learn what that is for you, or where did that come from? Where did these challenges come from for you? And, why you might be having a hard time kind of breaking that mold or boundary of, what that definition is, what your personal finances actually mean. Is it creating you more stress, like trying to afford $1 million home when you only make 60,000 a year? It doesn't make any sense, and you're not going to have good quality of life. You probably won't get accepted for the loan, to keep up with that. Or you'll be so stressed and feel so defeated and unhappy at that point where you're like, I don't even know why, I kill myself at work, metaphorically speaking, to just afford the mortgage, not even the upkeep and all the other stuff that goes along with that, or the enjoyment, why am I doing that? Because at the end of the day, nobody actually cares, So see if there's any mismatches with things like that. So otherwise, when you really master your Saturn placement, and it takes really long time, 30, 40 years, before it kind of gets, like lessons, that tight squeeze, like you're in a corset. It's kind of like, okay, we can loosen it up or just take the sucker off, and then you can actually kind of relax because you learned a lot of the lessons in that department for you, whatever is challenging for you. And, you don't have to be as stressed out, or you don't have to care as much as, you thought you needed to, because other people don't really care, or they're simply just not your people if you're getting that kind of feedback. Or, you can still hang around people who associate value like that, but you can also kind of dissociate yourself from whatever that is and be like, I'm happy, and that's more important than stressing about affording certain things or looking a certain way, being skinny enough or fit enough or good enough or smart enough, whatever it is, for you, talented enough, skilled enough, and not feeling rejected. It's like a self-esteem house or sign, So like if you're so stressed out, you can become angry and unpleasant, and that's no fun for anyone, as well as yourself. So, you have to find what is the right little harmonious balance for you. Of course, I'm going to say that because I'm a Libra rising, but hopefully that kind of resonated for you or made some kind of sense. So, it's just working on your actual finances, what do you need versus what do you want, and what do you invest in that's actually going to make you feel good from the inside, like you are successful, or you're skilled and talented in a craft, or like the arts or decorating, interior design, because Taurus is like an artsy, nice sign. Or, and when you build and refine your own craft or artistry, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be art related. Then you just feel really good and proud. You have internal happiness. That's not the phrase that I want, but I forgot. But it's intrinsic self-esteem and self-worth. It's not extreme. You know what I mean. So If you want to check out my website, it's www.natashascreativewellness.com. It's in the description box down below. If you want to check out other playlists and stuff that I've created, all you have to do is click my title name, Natasha's Creative Wellness. Click on that button, and then you'll see playlists. And I've organized, what I've already worked on, and I'm going to continue putting these videos out. The Saturn series are a little bit slower because I've had like a big life adjustment to help out my mom, and because she's going through major illness stuff. And so that's why my background is different, and I need more time to manage a variety of chaotic stuff and appointments and all this stuff. So, because I'm caregiving. So please pray for me and her. And yes, if you want a birth chart reading, my interpretation of that, then you can book in the website, at my website. Yes. And hope to see you later. Please subscribe and like and comment what your experiences are. Okay, bye.
So high, so high.